I'd like to invite everyone on the outskirts to kind of gather in so that you don't miss anything. In India, when we meet and part, we often say Namaste, which means, I honor the place in you where the universe resides. I honor the place in you of love, of light, of truth, of peace. I honor the place within you where if you are in that place, and I am in that place, there is only one of us. The words of Ram Dass. Maylene and Christian came together among the wild beauty of fire spinners and hula hoopers and dancing and drumming. Though they did not speak much that first night, the nights to come would be filled with much talking, much bonding of souls. Apropos of this, their first date was to Cirque du Soleil. That their relationship is built on so much color and joy and beauty is a sign of who they truly are and what moves their hearts. Chris says that it doesn't matter what they were up to. He'd still drive for miles from Bennington to spend time with her because she brightened his whole day. They talked like they'd known one another their whole lives. Although Maylene was hesitant to let herself be free to love, she found she had no choice when it came to Christian. She fell in love all in one fell swoop, and is so very glad she did. Christian knew he wanted to marry her. Every time he was back in Vermont, he felt like a piece was missing. That piece was her. When it came time for him to ask her to marry him, they were in a rush to get the dog to the vet, and he'd just been to the dentist to have teeth pulled, so she couldn't even kiss him to say yes. But he was too excited and too impatient to have waited another moment. The next day they went on a beautiful hike in Thatcher Park, and Christian was able to take his time and try again. Though she still couldn't kiss him, the sentiment was a little more romantic, and it made it all worthwhile. When I asked Maylene what it was she loved about Chris, she said she loves his heart, how he cares for others, and how forgiving and kind he is. He amazes her every day with how he cares for people. It takes someone with a big, strong heart to do a job like his. Most importantly, he has taught her how to allow someone to love her, but he has also taught her many things like patience and how to be spontaneous. Their personalities are opposites, so they learn a lot from one another. When I asked Chris what it was he loves about Maylene, he said he just loves watching her joy when she's hooping. He loves hiking with her and spending any time with her he can. It truly doesn't matter what they're doing. Chris says Maylene is probably one of the most compassionate people he knows, and always sees the good in people. She's not afraid to say what's on her mind, and she doesn't give up on him. Maylene says, "Once I stopped fighting it, I fell hard, and I believe that this is exactly where I need to be." At the honorable behest of Christian, I would like to take a moment to call to remembrance his grandparents, Shirley and Dewey Jones, and Betty Susie. Though they cannot be here with us on this plane, we know they're here with us in spirit, and are blessed by their love and with their memory. Maylene and Christian are happy today, not only because they can share the joy of their love for each other with their friends and family, but also because they have the opportunity to express their aspirations for the future. Maylene, Christian, do you pledge to help each other to develop your hearts and minds, cultivating compassion, generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiasm, concentration, and wisdom as you age and undergo the various ups and downs of life, and to transform them into the path of love, compassion, joy, and equanimity? Recognizing that the external conditions in life will not always be smooth, and that internally your own minds and emotions will sometimes get stuck in negativity, do you pledge to see all these circumstances as a challenge to help you grow, to open your hearts, to accept yourselves and each other, and to generate compassion for others who are suffering? Do you pledge to avoid becoming narrow, closed, or opinionated, and to help each other to see various sides of situations? Understanding that just as we are a mystery to ourselves, each other person is also a mystery to us. Do you pledge to seek to understand yourselves, each other, and all living beings, to examine your own minds continually, and to regard all the mysteries of life with curiosity and joy? Do you pledge to preserve and enrich your affection for each other, and to share it with all beings? To take the loving feelings you have for one another, and your vision of each other's potential and inner beauty as an example, and rather than spiraling inwards and becoming self-absorbed, to radiate this love outwards to all beings? When it comes time to part, do you pledge to look back at your time together with joy? Joy that you met and shared what you have, and acceptance that we cannot hold on to anything forever? Do you pledge to remember the disadvantages of ignorance, anger, and clinging attachment, and to apply antidotes when these arise in your minds, and to remember the kindness of all other beings and your connection with them? Do you pledge to work for the welfare of others with all of your compassion, wisdom, and skill? Do you pledge to work to develop the wisdom, understanding the relative functioning nature of things, and the wisdom knowing their deeper way of existence, and that they are empty of inherent existence, and to remember the laws of cause and effect? Do you pledge day to day to be patient with yourselves and others, knowing that change comes slowly and gradually, and to seek inspiration from your teachers, not to become discouraged? And lastly, do you pledge to continuously strive to remember your own divine nature as well as the divine nature of all living beings, to maintain the awareness that all things are temporary, and to remain optimistic that you can achieve your greatest potential and lasting happiness? May we please now have the rings. The wedding ring is the outward and visible sign of an inward and spiritual bond which unites two loyal hearts in partnership. Maylene, I'd like to ask you now to place Christian's ring on his finger and repeat after me. I, Maylene, take you, Christian, to be none other than yourself, loving what I know of you, and trusting what I do not yet know. I will have faith in your abiding love for me, in all that life may bring us. And now, Chris, if you would please place Maylene's ring on her finger and repeat after me. I, Christian, take you, Maylene, to be none other than yourself, loving what I know of you, and trusting what I do not yet know. I will have faith in your abiding love for me, in all that life may bring us. And by the power vested in me through the wishes of Maylene and Christian and the state of New York, as well as the blessing of the lineage of their spiritual friends, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my utmost honor to introduce to you for the very first time Mr. and Mrs. Mobus.